When you live in the middle of nowhere, you often find solace in the quietude, the serene isolation from the hustle and bustle of the city. But sometimes, even in these remote corners of the world, the tranquility can be shattered by chilling encounters that you'd least expect. I was just a fifth grader, innocent and oblivious to the dark shadows that occasionally dance at the fringes of our lives. It was a typical day when my parents were away at work, leaving me to my own devices. The TV offered some company as I lounged on the couch, unaware that this mundane day would take an alarming turn. Suddenly, the phone rang, breaking the silence. I picked it up, thinking it might be my parents checking in. But the voice on the other end was not familiar. It was an older man, a stranger, who seemed to have a peculiar interest in my attire. He complimented my blue shirt, which sent a shiver down my spine. How did he know what I was wearing? I couldn't hide the unease in my voice as I asked him this question. His response was chilling. He chuckled, a sinister sound that seemed to reverberate in my ears. Fear gripped me as I hurriedly locked the doors of our remote house, drawing the curtains tightly to shield myself from prying eyes. The man continued to laugh, relishing the terror he was inducing. My young heart pounded in my chest as I contemplated the gravity of the situation. How did he know about my shirt? What did he want? The stranger's questions took a sinister turn. He asked about my parents, inquiring about their whereabouts. I hesitated, fear making my voice quiver. I told him that my dad was in the shower, but he responded with more laughter and a chilling, "Sure." The world outside my window suddenly felt threatening, and I knew I had to act. I hung up the phone and dialed my parents, relaying the terrifying conversation. Panic took hold as they reacted swiftly, summoning a police officer to come talk to me about the disturbing call. Over the next few days, our tranquil neighborhood was patrolled by vigilant police officers, their presence providing some comfort in a time of uncertainty. The eerie experience left an indelible mark on my young mind, a stark reminder that even in the most remote places, darkness can find its way in. The enigma of childhood, where the inexplicable often becomes an integral part of growing up. When I was just 11 or 12, I found myself in the midst of a mysterious encounter that has left me puzzled to this day. It happened one day while I was loitering around the school parking lot, an average kid engrossed in my thoughts, blissfully unaware of the intrigue that was about to unfold. Out of the blue, a woman I'd never met before approached me. She held a phone, and before I could even exchange a word, she already knew my name. It was an eerie introduction, to say the least. With a calm demeanor, she handed me the phone. On the other end was a girl, seemingly around my age. A peculiar conversation ensued, one that left me with more questions than answers. She spoke to me casually, as if we were old friends. I found myself in a curious predicament. I didn't dare inquire about her identity, for the simple reason that she seemed to already know everything about me. It was an odd dance of words, a surreal connection with a stranger who was privy to the secrets of my life. The call concluded as abruptly as it began, leaving me bewildered and intrigued. Who was this girl? What was the purpose of this conversation, and why had the mysterious woman chosen to connect us? As the years rolled on, I often pondered the bizarre encounter from my early teens. The unknown girl on the phone and the enigmatic woman who orchestrated the conversation remained a perplexing mystery, an unsolved riddle from my past. To this day, I wonder about the reasoning behind that strange phone call, a curious chapter in my life's narrative that continues to intrigue and perplex. High school was a time of both innocence and unexpected twists in life, and one incident during those years left me baffled and somewhat unsettled. It was a regular day, and I was engrossed in my work, with my cell phone conveniently tucked away in my pocket. Little did I know that my mundane day was about to take an eerie turn. When I finally retrieved my phone on a break, I noticed a voicemail from an unknown number. Intrigued, I decided to give it a listen. To my shock, it was the voice of an elderly lady, filled with a sense of urgency. Her message contained her full name, address, date of birth, and the crown jewel of confidential information, her social security number. It was clear that she believed she was dialing someone else, and she had accidentally entrusted this sensitive data to my voicemail. Oddly enough, there was no indication that my outgoing message could have been mistaken for a business line. It was a baffling situation that left me concerned for this elderly woman's well-being. Resolving to do the right thing, I dialed the number to let her know that she had mistakenly dialed the wrong person and to caution her about leaving her social security number on a voicemail. But the voice on the other end was not that of the elderly lady. It was another woman, likely a family member. She swiftly informed me that I had called her mother's phone and delivered the shocking news that her mother had passed away. The phone call was cut short before I could even explain the reason for my call. This incident left me bewildered, pondering the bizarre chain of events that had unfolded. It was a reminder of how easily life can take unexpected and eerie turns, especially during the turbulent years of high school. The mysterious voicemail and the heartbreaking revelation it led to remained etched in my memory, a testament to the inexplicable occurrences life can throw our way. Years ago, I was staying over at a friend's house, and the ordinary evening took a spine-tingling turn when I received a call from a blocked number. Naturally, I answered the call, not knowing that it would lead to a sequence of events that I couldn't easily forget. The voice on the other end was unlike any I had ever heard before, a low, gravelly tone that sent shivers down my spine. The caller addressed me by name, saying, "Hey, your name. Didn't see you walking home after school today. I wanted to tell you that your ex-boyfriend loves you, misses you, and wants to be with you." This was unsettling, given that my ex-boyfriend was behind bars, and we hadn't exchanged a word in 2 years. The confusion grew with every word the caller spoke. I tried to gather my thoughts and asked for their name, but the answers I received only deepened the mystery. The caller claimed to have been watching me for years, referencing details about my life that were meant to stay private. Fear began to consume me. As the conversation continued, I pressed for the caller's identity, demanding a name. Finally, they uttered a name I had never heard before, John Doe. The strangeness of the situation had me in tears, but the caller wasn't done. Over the course of multiple calls, the mysterious individual shared more eerie details about my life, leaving me increasingly shaken and horrified. The final call left me with a haunting parting message. "I'll see you soon." My heart raced, and the gravity of the situation was undeniable. With the last call ended, I took immediate action, blocking the number and safeguarding my privacy. Thankfully, I never heard from this unsettling character again. However, this encounter had a lasting impact on me, compelling me to take measures to protect myself from unwanted intrusion. Months later, a bizarre twist emerged. A mutual friend of mine and my ex-boyfriend passed away, prompting an outpouring of condolences on a memorial page on Facebook. Among those expressing their grief was a man named John Doe, a face I had never seen before. His message was cryptic, stating, "Miss you. Hope you're well." Intrigued and alarmed, I clicked on his profile, revealing a disconcerting image of an older, eerie-looking man who seemed to be in the grip of substance addiction. To add to the mystery, I had never come across his face before. We had no mutual friends, and our late mutual friend wasn't among his Facebook connections. This unnerving revelation was the last straw. In a bid to regain my sense of security and protect my privacy, I took drastic measures. I deleted my Facebook account and changed my phone number, determined to sever any lingering connections to this enigmatic and unsettling encounter. To this day, the memory of those eerie phone calls and the mysterious John Doe continues to send shivers down my spine. A few years ago, in the spring of 2014, a strange and unsettling series of events unfolded, leaving me with lingering questions and a sense of unease. It all began with mysterious phone calls that, while initially amusing, soon took a chilling turn. I found myself receiving calls from an unfamiliar number, one that I couldn't trace back to anyone I knew. I had a habit of not answering calls from unknown or unsafe numbers, but this caller was persistent, leaving voicemails each time they tried to reach me. I came to recognize this individual as John, although I had no personal connection to him. It soon became apparent that John was attempting to reach someone named Teresa, but it seemed he had mistakenly dialed my number instead. The calls continued, occurring once or twice a week, and the voicemails John left were consistently mundane. They were along the lines of, "Hey Teresa, it's John. Please call me back." Or, "Hey Teresa, we're all hanging out right now. You should come over." John's speech often sounded slurred and inebriated, with a touch of what one might describe as a redneck accent. As the weeks passed, I couldn't help but wonder whether John was growing frustrated with Teresa's apparent lack of response. Still, I didn't feel particularly bothered by the calls, finding them more amusing than anything else. It was rather intriguing to observe John's persistent but misguided attempts to reach the elusive Teresa. However, the bizarre nature of this ongoing mix-up took a truly unsettling turn. It was a morning like any other when I awoke to find another missed call from John. But this time, the voicemail he left sent shivers down my spine. The timestamp indicated that he had called at around 4:30 a.m., and the message was a stark departure from the previous ones. In the voicemail, John's voice was notably different, slurred, slow, and muffled. He sounded as though he were in pain, struggling to articulate his words. In a haunting, half-whispered plea, he said, "Teresa, it's John. I've been in a really bad accident. I need you to come help me now." And then, as abruptly as it began, the message ended. The disconcerting nature of that voicemail left me deeply troubled. It was as if I had unwittingly stumbled into a dark and mysterious scenario, conjured from the depths of a horror story. I couldn't shake the image of John, possibly lying injured somewhere after a terrible accident, desperately calling out to Teresa. While I was haunted by the notion that he might be in grave danger, I wrestled with the reality that this entire episode might have been some elaborate, albeit disturbing, ruse. As inexplicably as it had begun, the strange series of calls ended. John never reached out again, and I never discovered the truth behind his desperate plea, or whether Teresa ever received his alarming message. To this day, the memory of those eerie voicemails and the unresolved mystery continues to give me chills.